Well, finally we're here, guys. It took me some time to adjust all of the things. Yeah, just give me a couple of seconds because today we're having our very first live stream on this channel in English, and I'm really amazed because, I've never done it before for different reasons. I will explain why. But again, before we start, let me just check some things. Today, there will be no Russian words, even though algorithms, they don't like it. But anyway, let me check the sound as you join. As always, maybe for the first 10 or 15 minutes, there will be just a couple of people, but I hope that maybe in 30 minutes and 40 minutes, there will be many more people here watching this live stream. Well, actually, having all of those issues with VPN, and actually it took me some time to pick up the right server because I don't know, one of them didn't work, the second one also didn't work, and only the third one. Hi, hello everybody. Yeah, we are here today. As I just said, we're having this live stream in English, and give me a thumbs up, leave the comment to kind of boost that video to the algorithms here, because again, it's never a good idea to mix up languages on the channel because my audience are kind of Russian people, and every time when I combine different languages, I'm a little bit afraid of kind of destroying my algorithms, which I've been working really hard on for the last 3 years. Let me check the sound. Hello, everybody. We have, how many people do we have? Oh gosh, my VPN doesn't work. Well, if only you knew how it is hard to live in Russia and use all of those VPNs, even though I have an internet router, just 1 meter away from me, which is kind of well adjusted, but anyway, really hard. Let's see here. How many people do we have? Am I having a live stream? Let me just check. Russian or English stream today? Only English stream, guys. Today we're having English live stream. The first one ever. The very first one ever. Really hard. Let's see. Oh, great. It works perfectly. The sound is great. The quality of the picture is always, I would say leaves a lot to be desired. But anyway, considering the fact that it's a live stream, it is okay. 4K live stream plus sound. Just give me, please, 10-20 seconds. I just gotta make sure that everything works perfectly, because again, launching live stream on YouTube, it's like similar to launching space rocket, SpaceX or something. There are a lot of things here. I have 2 screens. I have camera, I have my capture card, I have laptop, microphone, of course, and all of those points, they should work together. Excellent, guys. Okay, guys, everything works. Finally, we're here. So actually, to be honest, I'm not prepared for the live stream. There's no agenda here. I've just finished all of my classes today. I've had 8 classes, and we finished our speaking club, and that's why I will be looking forward to seeing your questions. Here I am answering your questions in English because you have asked me a lot of times about that while we were having our other live streams in Russian, of course, but sometimes I would switch to speak in English, not a problem. But today, as I said before, there will be no Russian words, regardless algorithms. Nobody cares. So everything works perfectly. Thank you so much, sir. Sorry, it's a female name. I just my eyesight has become really poor. I'm deeply sorry. Juliana, sorry. Yeah, everything works perfectly. Everybody, hi. So, hi, Nikita was looking forward to watching this. Here I am, making your dream come true. So, waiting for your questions. Let me just check how many people are watching right now. 5 people so far, but I really hope that the number will be higher. 9 people, guys. Let's reach all the way up to 30. If not 40 people, let's break the previous record. The previous record, I think, was 35, 37. Like the peak was 37. Actually, for yes, female. Sorry, my brain has got really confused because today I have worked really hard. May I disagree with your Mr. Teacher regarding your review about MGIMO University? Of course, I am sitting here only to kind of have some heated debate. That's the only reason what I'm here for. Yeah, waiting for your questions. Any questions about MGIMO? About MGIMO. I was about to. I thought that you wrote about MSU. MGIMO. Are you talking about materials? Maybe it is regarding what? Yeah. Feel free to ask me any questions that you want. Well, and maybe between questions, if if there are no questions, I will maybe sometimes switch into some kind of other topics, because technically I have a lot of things to talk about my recent trip to two Asian countries, namely Thailand and Vietnam, and other things. So when I watch Russian YouTube video, what? Sorry guys, I've just recently changed my monitor, I mean my screen, and the resolution is a little bit higher. That's why the font is lower, and it takes me more more time to adjust my eyesight. So when I watch Russian YouTube videos, maybe I will be reading from my phone because I really don't see it here. Yeah, when I watch Russian YouTube videos, but instead of Russian audio, I choose English dubbing. I sometimes not always can understand what people are. Once again, sorry, I just well, when I watch Russian YouTube videos, but instead of Russian audio, I choose English. I sometimes not always. Maybe you should read and can. You sometimes cannot understand what people are talking about because English dub sounds strange. Yeah. Actually, that's one of 16 people, guys. Thank you so much for being here, because I was really afraid that YouTube wouldn't be pushing that stream, because, again, it's not our primary language. Even though it is about teaching English, but again, the audience is primarily Russian people. I mean, Russian-speaking people from, neighboring countries, from Europe, from America. But anyway, for people who speak English, but I would tell you that the majority of audience, the majority of viewers, they're beginners. And every time when they click the video and they start hearing English sounds, English letters, they just get really scared. They want to turn off the video. But anyway, let's keep it the same way. So, yeah, a little bit about, dubbing, and about that feature actually integrated in YouTube, allowing you to listen to different languages. I will explain. So one of the main reasons I really hate it is that it's not able to work with emotional connection. Even if you were to start watching Mr. Beast videos, you would immediately notice that there won't be any emotional connection. It's like, I don't know, as if you're hearing some kind of voice from a robot. That's how it works. Because again, humanity and development of AI has not yet reached that point when it will be completely replaced by AI. That's why every single time if you switch to another language and the original sound is in English or in Russian, you will immediately notice the difference, that it will be kind of like, I would use the word off-putting. You're not gonna want to watch this video. That's how it works, just my opinion. And I would tell you that all the videos that have such feature, like for example English video, or for example, let me say, how should I explain that? Every single time when you see a video where video footage and audio file are not connected between each other, and you see you see, for example, an Italian dude speaking English, of course, with the video being processed through AI, of course, you probably won't want to watch the video. Yeah, and I totally agree. A little bit weird. So what's your attitude to retelling text by heart? At my university, the only thing our teacher does it. So, what's your attitude to retelling text by heart? My university, well, actually, I'm getting a little bit confused by punctuation. At my university, the only thing our teacher does is to make retell text. But to my mind, that's the most, what's the word? Futile activity in English. I don't know the word futile, maybe pointless or something. Well, let me check the word futile. What does it mean, futile? I guess it's pointless or something. Futile. Yeah, actually, pointless. So let me explain. Let me put this way. I would say that also it is something that I usually give my students, maybe not on a regular basis, but sometimes. And I would explain why it may be useful. First of all, when you retelling the text is not the same as retelling that by heart, because again, there are different ways. You can retell a text by heart, as probably you wrote, or you can retell it by your own words. And these are completely two different things. When you retell something from your perspective, from your opinion, from kind of processing information through your brain, it does help you develop your, I don't know what it's called, cognitive abilities, speaking abilities, whatever. It does help you to develop your speaking skills. When it comes to memorizing information and, really telling them or retelling them by heart, like poems or some kind of poetry or something, I may guess that it's not as useful as, again, as I've just said, retelling it from your own perspective. Because again, what I usually give my students, if there is a part of retelling the story, we have a text, for example, when it comes to homework, we have a text. It's a long story, maybe 300, 400 words text. And the task which a student will have to accomplish is write down bullet points, of course, kind of get familiar with the text, write down some words, etc., and write down some bullet points. It is completely pointless idea to retell the text by heart. I know there is something that a lot of universities use, and I remember even me sitting, maybe when I was in 4th grade or something, I was a 4-year student. I remember our English classes, and it was really horrible. There was like a teacher asking students for their homework and asking them or even forcing them to retell the text by heart. Makes no sense because you have no idea about words, you have no idea about meanings and the story and the narrative. Completely pointless, or we can use the word like here it is
futile.
Futile. Completely futile activity. I have no. It depends, it depends, because MGIMO actually prepares students for particular type of work. Interpreters, translators, diplomats, whatever. When it comes to real fields, speaking English makes absolutely no sense, because real human interaction and spoken English is a little bit different. I hope that I've answered your question. So yeah. What's your you called MGIMO curriculum a crap. Kinda. But the professors there don't teach the students to just have a free chat. They teach you to be a narrow diplomatic specialist or a professional interpreter. Well, yeah, I would agree that maybe in that video I a little bit exaggerated the idea of kind of GIMO materials being complete crap. Of course, they're not. But the point is that, again, I truly believe that it doesn't take 4 years or 5 years or 10 years, I don't know, to reach the level when you start speaking, when you start working as a diplomat, or, I don't know, you start being involved in all of those activities related to, like, diplomacy or all of those diplomatic things, negotiations, different agreements. I don't know, but I would tell you for sure that I truly believe that there is a lot of crap information there, which kind of shitty information that nobody needs. Just my opinion. Again, I was just reading through all of those materials and textbooks, and I would tell you that when a textbook, like English textbook, is written in Russian, and there is a whole kind of miscellaneous information, irrelevant information, which is written, I don't know, in the very beginning. Who needs that? Nobody needs that. Just my opinion. I don't know. I may be wrong. But of course, it's pretty pointless to consider GIMO is a low-quality university. Of course not. But I would tell you that I've noticed by comments, by other messages, direct messages to my Telegram, that people truly believe that all students at MGIMO, they are really perfect at English. and they are not. I was really lucky to come across almost everybody speaking English quite decently. But I would tell you, when it was my second visit, it was September 2025, I got just a little bit disappointed because I did see a lot of people, maybe not a lot of, but quite a few people, well, kind of barely speaking English. Well, coincidence? Don't think so. So, which is why I think for some of the students, studying and learning general English won't be a bad and horrible idea. Yeah. So, let me see. Yeah, that's why maybe I have answered your question. I really hope. Of course, I don't consider all MGIMO materials like a crap. Of course, like, one of the students of MGIMO has recently contacted me, and he sent me some PDF files and some materials, Word files with journal English textbooks and word books. And I was really amazed because, they were really good. And maybe I will make the next video reviewing them, given my opinion. Yeah. So, Ksenia Sobchak fluently speaks English, and recently she's had a conversation with a well-known or famous actor, Kevin Spacey, and Mickey Rourke. Well, yeah. Also, quite recently, some of my subscribers has told me about that, and I've checked that out, but I'm not going to watch kind of breakdown of that video because, again, it's not my it's not my type, it's not my I don't know, it's not just my content. Well, how did you find your first student? What's the best way to find students? So, very interesting question, guys. When it comes to finding students, I would tell you that the very first student that came to me online from YouTube, from social media, because again, before I started teaching English online, I had already had, by the way, good example of past perfect. Everybody tells me that nobody uses past perfect, but that's a good point. Oh gosh, sorry. Before I started teaching English online, I had already had past perfect, our experience. I'd already had a couple of students, if I'm not mistaken, 2 or 3, with whom I had been having some classes for quite some time, maybe for 6 or 7 months. Yeah, the very first student that came to me, it was July 2024, and after our first initial lesson or call, which I usually give for 30 minutes, even nowadays, I provide kind of first initial call for 30 minutes to assess, knowledge, to check the level, of course, usually it takes more time, but just get to know each other at least. Yeah, the very first student came to me, it was July 2024, and since then, I just gradually started having more and more students. And of course, as I improved the quality of my videos, as I improved my thumbnails, maybe the storytelling skills, students would start coming to me on a regular basis. And even right now, of course, I have, I'm not saying that I have like an influx of students, like a huge flow of students. Nah. But yeah, almost every day, almost maybe a couple of days, some new people write me messages and they contact me in terms of asking for a price, asking for some kind of terms and conditions, and yeah, for individual classes, for speaking clubs, maybe for some other products, which I still don't have. So, unfortunately, retelling text is the only assignment that the majority of teachers use. That's what I'm saying. Well, maybe the only reason why they use it as the only way to give homework because they have no other ways, or maybe they're lazy, or maybe because they follow some kind of program. For example, if we're talking about people who work in online schools, they are forced, of course, they are kind of put in that bubble in there, and they're surrounded by a lot of rules. Particular textbooks, they have no, in English we have the word leeway. It's like freedom of your actions. They have no leeway towards their actions. They are just stuck to one particular material. For example, talking about Skyeng, as far as I know, they only use English file, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm not saying that that textbook is really bad or good. Nah, it actually doesn't matter. What matters is how maybe how qualified, how knowledgeable, how professional your teacher is. That's what matters, just my opinion. Of course, it matters what kind of materials you use, because some of the materials may seem to be boring or non-interesting for one student. For another, it can be really cool, great. But anyway, since we live in the era of AI, ChatGPT, or something you may easily create if you if you are passionate enough, if you are motivated enough, maybe by money, maybe by your audience or something, you may easily create your own materials based on your students' interest or demand or kind of request. Because I recently had just a few students reaching me out and telling me that, Nikita, we would like to learn English, but only targeting maybe not one particular, but a couple of particular points like law or, about business, partnership, scaling, something else. And it is completely okay, even though I strongly advocate for general English. Basically, it means that you have to, you have to be able to speak about all the topics using all the grammar, enriching your vocabulary as widely as possible. But if you do have such request, plus you already have some particular level, maybe B1, B1 plus, yeah, why not? We may only target and aim one particular topic, not one particular topic, but one particular sphere or industry in English. So, yeah. Is it worth trying to strive for early achievement, or it's okay to wait for a success? Well, it's quite interesting and provocative question, because I recently watched the video with one of my favorite psychologists, by the way, and I would tell you even the link, and I guess you have already seen Orion Taraban. Actually, I consider him to be one of the most brilliant psychologists in the world. Yeah, Orion Taraban. I would highly recommend everybody to watch his videos. Of course, his target topics, I would say, related to relationships, but also sometimes he makes videos regarding basic, fundamental, or I would say fundamentally psychological topics. And one of them actually was about early success. The video came out a couple of days ago, and I would tell you, while I was watching that, I was like, yeah, I totally agree with everything that he's just said. The point is that, yeah, I'm personally prone to wait for success, because again, just look at the YouTube, the video that you are watching right now. It took me a couple of years. It took me, even right now, I'm not saying that I have already reached numbers or some kind of success. Yeah, of course, I've become completely independent from 9-to-5 job, which I used to work in. And right now, all my income, all of my income, but my main stream of income comes from the channel, from my students, from speaking clubs, from, other things also not related to English. But yeah, waiting for success is essential, because you will never ever reach anything if you're not willing to wait for success, because it takes time. It has a lot of unpredictable things. That's the main difference between working for a company and making your, it doesn't matter, channel, or running your company, or having, for example, in my case, I am just sole proprietor. In Russian, it sounds like individual entrepreneur. If I said it properly. Yeah, sole proprietor. Yeah, it doesn't matter. You still have business. It means that there is nobody helping you. There's nobody telling you where the right answer is. You're just, you kind of function by yourself. You're like a blind person trying to find something. Like, yeah, just take a look at my videos. I'm always willing to, make some experiments. One kind of videos, another camera, different angle, different lenses, different questions. Maybe questions should be different, but anyway, different approaches, different emotions. This kind of videos, that kind of videos, reviewing some people, breaking down some videos. Well, if somebody is not willing, is not ready for that, probably it's not your thing. But there is no such thing as immediate success. There is sometimes, but it's not constant, and it doesn't often happen. So, Let me see. And I really hope, again, I have answered your question. Right now, 9 people are watching us. Let's increase it all the way up to 20, guys. Please leave the comment, hit the like, and or also people say thumbnail. Not thumbnail, thumbs up. Sorry, not thumbnail, thumbs up. They say usually hit the like, hit the notification, or again, native speakers, they usually say thumbs up. I don't know actually why, but hit the like. Yeah, let's see. Let me check, by the way, the quality of the sound once again. Yeah, works perfectly. Do you have... so yeah, I will translate. Yeah, I get pleasure from watching content in English, but still, I understand it maybe by 70%. What's the best way to learn word? How to overcome that barrier of understanding live speech? I don't translate. Maybe don't make transition, but I don't translate fully. Well, I guess I will give you quite simple answer. It takes some time. It will, I actually know what your level is. Can you give me can you please tell me what your level is? If it's like A2, it may take you 1 year, 1.5 years to reach the point when you start understand almost everything. Again, even in my case, I have no idea what kind of level I have, but C1 I have for sure. Like based on the grammar I can use fluently, based on my kind of feeling the language, the way I feel the language. I don't know. Of course, maybe I have not maybe, I do have Russian accent, just not a little bit. I'm not a judge. You're judges, guys. Can you tell me what kind of strong or not strong accent do I have? Or yeah, but anyway, of course, it is far better than, I don't know, 90% of people learning English. Yeah, if you have A1, A1 plus, pre-intermediate level, it may take you more time. Probably 2 years. As a rule of thumb, we also may have such phrase in English, yeah, or as a rule, it usually takes up to 3 years to reach fluency in all of those things. Speaking, writing, reading, listening, of course, from zero, from scratch, all the way up to C1. I'm not mentioning proficiency because it's quite debatable. I'm quite suspicious towards people who claim that they have C2 level proficiency because it's quite ambiguous, I would say. It's not clear. Because even if you were to approach some kind of, dude walking around, I don't know, when I was in Thailand, I would talk to a lot of people, more than 100 native speakers from Britain, from, I don't know, Iceland, from New Zealand, from Australia, from all of those countries, from different parts of the world. And I would tell you that, let me see. Yeah, the picture is not freezing. I would tell you that they don't even have B1, B2 level, because what really defines your kind of that letter and the number B1, B2, it's just maybe particular vocabulary, maybe particular grammar rules or something, because you may easily have B2 at the same time feeling the language as if you have C2 level. And I would tell you, I've seen a lot of people passing successfully exams for C2 level, like proficiency. And at the same time, I saw them speaking English. And I would tell you, I'm not saying it was horrible, but it was far away from what I do. But I've never passed any exams. Probably, if I wanted, maybe I would pass it, and maybe I would, reach C1 plus. Who knows? Maybe I don't know, if I prepared more, maybe I would reach C2. I mean, I would pass it at C2 level. I have no idea, really. Yeah. So, how often do you use inversion? Is it something that does define your level of... Oh, well, about inversion, I have a lot of things to say. First and foremost, guys, it is really something all native speakers use all the time. It's a great tool, or we can say it's a great instrument to emphasize your speech. Never ever before have I been there. Yeah, because if I say I've never been there, yeah, sounds quite ordinary. But if I say I never before have I been there, or no sooner had I arrived there than tra-ta-ta, or only then did I realize that it was a mistake. Or I can say, little did I know that that person had committed a crime. Again, it's a tool to emphasize your speech. And what I always say is that, of course, it's not mandatory, it's not obligatory. You're not forced to use inversions. You may easily just you can easily do without using inversions again, but it shows that you're a well-spoken person, you've kind of mastered the language, because again, speaking English at a high level doesn't only mean that you can use grammar, you can feel the language, you can cover as many different topics as possible. You can also kind of create that emotional connection with the person, with the audience. Feel the language, you emphasize what is needed to be emphasized, and you don't emphasize what is not needed to be emphasized, or that doesn't need to be emphasized. That's how it works, just my opinion. That's why inversions, I would say it's a C1, C1 plus, even C2 grammar, which is not necessarily, I would say, which doesn't necessarily need to be learned, my opinion. Yeah. So, what can you say, imposter? Do you use textbook English collocations and use? Is it a good one? Well, I may probably have it downloaded on my computer, but I never use it for different reasons. First of all, I don't see any point in either teaching or learning. Just a list of phrases makes no sense. It is far better to watch something and then you learn information from the material, either an article or a video or any other digital materials. Well, guys, I would show you actually, because I have it actually. Maybe not this particular book, collocations, but I have Grammar in Use, written by Murphy, and I guess, or I don't have it. Let me see. Let me adjust my microphone here because I don't want the quality of the sound to be poor. English, textbooks. Here we are, guys. There it is. Yep. Grammar, English grammar in use. And let me break it down for a couple of minutes, maybe a couple of seconds. Yeah, Raymond Murphy, well-known author. Everybody knows about him. And everybody, every single time, mentions that particular book. Also, we have for essential grammar. Is it for complete beginners? who know nothing about English? But I want to tell you something about that book. Because from a lot of people's opinions, that book is regarded to be like a textbook. But it's not. It's not a textbook. It's just a manual for phrases, for grammar. Because if you blindly follow that particular structure here written on the very first page, you would never reach, I'm not even saying about reaching something, you would immediately get confused in a couple of hours. Again, if you were to start blindly following that textbook, I would even say that book or manual. Again, they are not, oh, sorry, just a second, guys. Just a second. Here we are. Well, so let me adjust this. Oh gosh, it takes some time. Horizontally? What the hell? Just a second. Transform. Flip. Horizontal. Here we are. Yeah. If you were to blindly follow that structure, you would immediately get confused. Because all these topics, they're not connected. There is no connection at all, like 0% correlation between all of those topics. They are just arranged by, I don't know, alphabet order. Present continuous, present simple, past continuous. Everything that starts with the letter P. Then we have, I don't know, must, mustn't, needed. So, what I always say about that textbook is that you may use it, not a problem, but use it as a manual. You have a teacher, you have your textbooks, you have your materials, you have well-planned structure. And if you have a question, anyway, in my opinion, it is far better to just go on YouTube or ask your teacher directly. But, oh, sorry, I have received a message. Yeah. It is far better to go on YouTube. But anyway, if you would like to use it, just pay attention to only what you need to find. For example, if you, I don't know, if I were to forget about something about if or I wish, I could open that particular page, 38th, and would read some information about that. Otherwise, again, it makes no sense. I know a lot of people, guys. I'm not telling you that just from nowhere. I'm telling that from what I've seen, from kind of what kind of people I have already talked to. And yeah, a lot of people would tell me that they did buy that book, Murphy, and they would be learning English for quite some time without having any success, and then complaining that English is a very hard language, which is not the case at all. Going back to our main screen here, let me adjust my camera and let me just take a sip of water because I'm a little bit thirsty. Let's move on. How many people are watching? 10 people. Great. Actually, for English live stream on the Russian YouTube channel, it's a really big number. It's a really big deal. So, by the way, guys, send the video to someone who also thinks about learning English. Kind of recommendation. So, well, what can you say about imposter syndrome? So, what can I say? It's a big deal. It's a widespread problem, global problem. Everybody, almost every creator struggles with that. Even in my case, a little bit, because it works as a boost, as a push for my creativity, but just a little bit. If you have a too much high level of imposter syndrome, well, it may destroy your result. Well, if you do your stuff, if you're involved in what you're really interested in, it will disappear in quite some time. Maybe in 1 year, maybe in 2 years, it will disappear. Just trust me, it will. Yeah. So do you use why you've never overviewed the politicians' speeches who oppose the Western narratives in English? Why always only Trump declarations? Well, good question, and this week there will be a lot of videos not related to Donald Trump. There will be one. First of all, I would tell you popularity. Of course, I'm not going to hide that or deny that or try to conceal that fact. It's popularity because, again, who is the president of the United States? Right. Donald Trump. That's why he is maybe the most frequently discussed figure in America. And everybody who lives in Russia, lives in, I don't know, post-Soviet countries, doesn't matter. They all search for any updates related to Iran, the USA, Donald Trump, maybe Marco Rubio, or other people kind of who are involved in that circle. That's the reason. I'm completely transparent. If I were to start making YouTube videos or kind of breaking down news about, kind of no-names politics, who nobody knows anything about, well, guys, probably such videos would gain maybe 200 views or something. But all of my news right now, they constantly gain 1.5K, 2K, sometimes 1K. But again, it is my target audience by comments, by feedback, by likes, etc. Thank you for your question. I hope that I have answered that. Yes, A2 maybe. It's a problem of small vocabulary. In my opinion, you should never ever be focused or even being obsessed. You should never be obsessed with even thinking about the size of your vocabulary. You should pay attention to that. You shouldn't forget about that. But prioritizing that probably will lead you to the wrong direction. Namely, disappointment, frustration, and depression. Yeah, because, there is tons of such videos on Instagram, on YouTube, kind of telling you, like forcing you, and even we can use the phrase, forcing that opinion down your throat, if I'm not mistaken. We have used that phrase. Yeah, point is that people constantly make you believe that you have to use really complicated words, regardless of your aim, your goal, your purposes in English. Doesn't matter. Never say beautiful, say gorgeous, magnificent, whatever. Never, guys. Never follow that stupid advice. The most stupid advice ever. What you have to be focused on: grammar, fluency in English, feeling the language, listening a lot of videos, listening a lot of podcasts, also listening that passively. Oh gosh, I just hit my microphone. Yeah, listen to something passively when you wear your headphones at the same time your phone is somewhere in your pocket. That's what you have to be focused on, not the size of your vocabulary. So just my opinion. So I'm a programmer and I need to read documentation in English, watch videos. Well, it's great that you work as a programmer and you use English. Just keep doing that. Again, your program is like a balance. If you need to kind of put more energy, make more efforts towards reading, just increase the amount of time that you pour into reading any manuals. Yeah, you have only 24 hours a day. But I would highly recommend only spending, I don't know, 2 hours, 3 hours maximum. Every time when it comes to spending 5 or 6 hours, it's never a good idea. Because sometimes from really motivated students, I receive such questions like, Nikita, I have a lot of hours. How should I distribute the time? What I always say is that if you have 3 hours, 2 hours, you can easily dedicate them to English. Everything which goes beyond, well, dedicate this time, I don't know, to spending time with your family, having barbecue, going out with your girlfriend or something with friends, but not to English. Because again, your productivity will eventually fall down after maybe 4th or 5th hour, my opinion. So, how many questions do we have? How to adjust Anki and other programs. What do you think about the structure? What do you think about the structure of translator and English words? Actually, I don't get the question. I don't know. I wouldn't be that focused on that. Like synonyms. Well, my opinion, if you see a new word, let's see. For example, if I were to learn maybe the word, let me see. I don't know, any adjective. For example, let me see. For example, magnificent. 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 Let's imagine I don't know such a word. I can check some synonyms. For what? To kind of see different angles. Because again, there is never such thing as 100% synonym or correlation. You will always have different angles, different similarity, 70%, 60%, or something. Yeah, for magnificent, majestic, imposing, superb. Yeah, superb. It means excellent, splendid, glorious. Yeah, magnificent. Beautiful, dazzling, gorgeous. Yeah, exquisite, sumptuous, splendid. Yeah. For example, yeah, you can check some synonyms for sure. Let's have a look here. Well, do you use Mirrorboard or some other platforms or use just open textbooks? I use a lot of materials. I use open textbooks. I use Word files. I use my personal notes. I use YouTube. I use any other features, of course, ChatGPT, but I don't use any digital boards or platforms because I don't know. I don't think that I have as much leeway as I do when I use my materials. Because again, Mirrorboard and well, maybe in the future. I'm not saying that it's completely pointless thing. I have enough things, and I'm pretty much satisfied with what I've been using. That's the answer. Of course, if I were to start using Mirrorboard, maybe I would be able to integrate some extra materials, extra things, extra activities like matching something, constructing different blocks. You can create the whole like blueprint or the whole map of your things. But I don't know actually what I need this for, kind of, because I kind of track the progress of my students, and I have just a couple of really good examples, like brilliant examples of people who I've been working with for 2 years, 2 years and a half, for 1 year. And well, I mean, every single time when I kind of think about that, one particular student comes to my mind and I start kind of think about him. Well, the progress that he's made is like, I don't know, beyond my imagination. Because I mean, for 9 months, by the way, if he's watching the video, I guess he knows who I'm talking about. Well, for the last 9 months, we've had our classes from September 2025. He's made brilliant progress. I don't know, more than 2 levels probably. And right now he has almost B2 level. Even mastering and using and filling conditional sentences better than, I know, a lot of C1 students. What I was saying is that using mirror board is not as essential as it's claimed to be by a lot of teachers, that you have to use mirror board, you use only textbooks or rah. Get the out of here. I mean, not you personally, but such teachers saying that. Nah, it's a bullshit in my opinion. What do you think about Duolingo? So what can I say? Just entertainment? And actually, the main purpose, the main purpose that app was created for, basically doesn't correlate with what other people expect from this app, because a lot of people expect boosting, enriching their speaking speaking abilities, speaking skills, but it's not how it works. Yeah, it should work, I don't know, as just reinforcement of your main program. You have a teacher, you have textbooks, you have materials, you have your, I don't know, your main purpose. And sometimes it's just a part of having a fun. You may integrate the use of Duolingo, but for 10 minutes just for fun, not replacing it with Duolingo, like the whole process. In this case, it makes no sense. Again, people expect completely wrong and false things from Duolingo, not what it was created for. Yeah. It creates some kind of gamification, you know. There's some particular counter that counts how many days you've been using that app kind of consistently. And yeah, on the one hand, it's great. On the other hand, it's pointless. Up to a person. What was your favorite subject at school? My favorite subject was physical education. Yeah, PE classes, I think. And maybe maybe some classes that I would be able to skip. Biology, chemistry, or something. Yeah, I would be sitting just in the local canteen, playing phone, or just, I don't know, doing some crazy things or eating something. Yeah. Do you have a regular speaking practice except classes and your social media? Well, probably I do. When I travel somewhere abroad, when I record my videos sometimes, but probably not. I think using my English on social media during my classes, I think it's enough. Actually, what else do I need to use English for? I don't know. Maybe if I were to give some official speeches or some kind of, I don't know, presentations, maybe I would use it. But so far, nah. I mean, these are the only places I use my English in. What's the real clinchers for you in a committed clinchers? Holy crap, what's the word? Clinchers. Well, you're more educated than I am in terms of vocabulary. Here we are. Clincher. I guess I got it. Clincher. Oh gosh, even in Russian, I have no idea what it means. Clincher. Well, I wish I knew the word. Are you talking about criterion, maybe? In English, 2 plus it's criteria, 1 it's criterion. Are you talking about criterion or what? I mean, you could give overviews, Corridor or Jackson Hindley speeches, for example. I don't know who they are. Do you have an advanced level? I hope I do. Yeah. How do you usually conduct a trial lesson? Well, it's not a secret, but you can reach me out and I will tell you all the information about that. Usually, it involves a couple of things. First of all, of course, I just gotta know some background information, purpose, also kind of talking a little bit, telling me a few words about a student's background, kind of covering all the tenses, all the angles, future, present, past, to see actually how well a person is spoken. And of course, we also discuss some particular points about a student's goals, main purpose of learning English, because it is always different. Some people need to target reading, some people need to target speaking, which is the most frequent request, of course, because again, according to my statistic, according to the statistic of the internet and the whole world, usually speaking abilities are the ones which are lower than others, knowing grammar, theoretical part, etc. Yeah, and that's actually how my first trial lessons are conducted. How important it is to have a practice with a native. Is it possible to play games on European servers, or well, so what can I say about playing games on European servers, and also comparing their quite, we can say, quite small vocabulary or quite short vocabulary or list of vocabulary. So what can I say about playing games? Well, I've been really I've always been really far away from learning English from computer games. It works, of course, and I've met a couple of people telling me that, I've never done anything beyond playing computer games. And I was like, dude, good luck. If you're able to do that, just keep doing the same. But I would tell you, for the majority of people, only playing computer games without having a teacher, without well-structured classes, it will probably lead you to the wrong point from which it will be really possible to get back. Yeah, which is true. So, what are the most important parts of English grammar? The most important parts, if we're talking about grammar, not mentioning filling the language, I would say English tenses, past effective form, conditional sentences, there is, there are, quantifiers, conditionals. Have I already mentioned them? Again, tenses, active passive form, there is, there are, gerund, conditionals, quantifiers like much, many, a lot of, lots of, and inversion. Kinda, yeah. 6, 7 steps. These are fundamental things. Of course, we have a lot of, a lot of different things. Comparatives, adverbials, whatever. But basically, fundamentally, these are the most important things. Because again, without passive form, it will be really hard to make up a lot of sentences. You will be really confused. You would say, I don't know, something wrong. Also endings, ing and ed. But again, fundamentally, these 6 topics, in my opinion. I can't agree more about Duolingo. Thank you so much. Yeah. I can't agree. I couldn't agree more. Or I can't agree more. Thank you so much for your feedback. Is it acceptable for teachers to make mistakes? How often do you notice that you make mistakes? Well, guys, even in Russian, when I speak Russian, my native language, I've been speaking for 29 years. For God's sake. I make a lot of mistakes in my native language, let alone English. Even though I'm not a beginner, I'm not an intermediate or upper intermediate. I hope I have advanced level in English. I still make a lot of mistakes in English. Kind of, I don't know, sometimes mixing up words. Sometimes I may confuse will and would. But it is completely okay, It's not a problem. I mean, of course I make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. When it comes to real life conversation, making your thoughts and making up your thoughts during live stream or during real conversation, you make some pauses, just slow down, You may kind of make some mistakes. It is completely okay. Just try to follow and track your native language. You would probably notice that you would start making a lot of mistakes in your native language. Some words, sounds, maybe using sometimes inappropriate words, etc. So, yeah, what do you think about Duolingo? Actually, I have already answered that question. What I think about Duolingo, I think that people perceive that app in the wrong manner. They expect things the app was not created for. They expect boosting their speaking abilities, even though the app was created, in my humble opinion, only for entertainment, for working as a reinforcement tool. You have a teacher, you have whatever and whoever you have, but it should, well, I really got tired, guys. I've been speaking English for 1 hour. I guess it's been the longest. It is the longest duration of me speaking English that I've ever made any videos. People expect improving and boosting their speaking abilities. That's what they expect, and it's completely false idea. It doesn't work this way. And can you please estimate my language skills? I'm that guy in gray hoodie. Oh, well, really glad to see you. And I would tell you that that video has already gained more than 2.5K. And I'm really glad that we kind of met each other or came across each other, because I would say I have already rewatched the first part of the video, and I would tell you that there is some kind of energy and some kind of chemistry, which is really great. I mean, in a positive manner. I don't know, actually, but it's great. That's what makes a really good video. So can you please estimate my language skills? Yeah, about your skills. Well, considering the fact that you don't have, as I do, 37 hours of individual classes and not having speaking clubs being conducted, your English is fantastic. Your English is amazing. Plus, of course, what I did notice first when I came across you, that you do have a little bit American accent, kind of. Yeah, because as far as I remember, you told me that you had already been there before, which is incredible, I think. Yeah, it's really, really great. Even I have never had such experience, but it's been my biggest dream to make, or to do, I think. Yeah, I think to do a car trip, landing in New York and making all the way up to Los Angeles and then flying back to Moscow. That's why I think that your English is fantastic, again, for a student, even among, I don't know, even for students who study at linguistic universities. Moscow Linguistic State University, MGIMO, etc. Yeah, because again, I've been to MSU 3 times. It was my 3rd time. I was in April 2025. Second time was September 2025. And it was my 3rd time 2 weeks ago. Yeah, thank you so much. Great. Yeah. Do you teach mostly adults or kids as well? Do you like teaching kids, or it's more comfortable to interact with adults? Well, I really like kids. I am not like child-free person, but every time when it comes to teaching kids, and by saying kids, I don't mean 15, 14, 13. Nah, I have a student, for example, who lives in Barnaul, and he is 14, 15. I'm deeply sorry if you're watching the video, but he's 14. Yeah, he's 14 years old. And I have a student who has recently taken a break from our classes because he has summer holidays, which I kind of hate. But anyway, he's like a teenager, and why not hang around without ing? Yeah, 16, 14, 13 actually study English with me as complete adults. I'm not saying that we discuss like something like politics, religious, philosophy, but anyway, there is no gamification. There is no all of those things that teachers should use when it comes to teaching English for 7-year-old, for 8-year-old, for 10-year-old, because again, it doesn't work the same way as it does for adults. Just my opinion, and I really enjoy working with adults because, again, they don't need you to use all of those tools. What they need is actually following their requests, because, again, they may have different requests for business purposes, for something else. You should speak to them. You should demonstrate their materials. Again, guys, I would just want to show you. Every time when I say that I don't use digital platforms or any other features, I'm not saying that I just use my gestures and I only talk. Nah, I use Word file, I use my notes, and the way I teach tenses or something, I think is really incredible because, again, we cover that in different cases. For example, different timelines. I explain what we really use present perfect for, past simple for, present simple for, doesn't matter. Because, again, I know a lot of teachers using platforms, mirror board, whatever, like Magic or something, and they just say present simple or present perfect is just finished action, or I don't know, in uncompleted action from the past. What a bullshit it is. It's your experience. That's the main reason it is mostly used in news, in different broadcasts, and a reporter or a person who gives some kind of speech may even use it as the number one tense. Because, again, you may convey your thoughts as experience in all of your cases. That's why, yeah, using digital materials, using any other features is not mandatory for reaching success. I have a really good track and kind of, as we can call it, even in trading, track history of my students, and I would tell you that it's not necessary at all to use it. You may use it, but it's not necessary. Just my opinion. So, God bless you. Thank you so much. Right now, 13 people are watching us, which is amazing. Yeah, and I think pretty much soon I will have to wrap up this live stream because I really got tired. Yeah. Anyway, at the same time, I really enjoyed. Let me take a sip of water. How often do you see, guys, anybody on Russian teachers teaching English, conducting the whole live stream on YouTube in English? I'm not saying that I'm the only dude doing that, but it's pretty rare. Speaking English, teaching English, and feeling the language are completely different things. There are a lot of teachers teaching you English, explaining rules, without never, can we say without never? Without never. Kind of just made me think about that. Without never going. I would say without going, just without the word never. Without going outside, without going out there, and without speaking to real people. They never have any decent conversation with anybody. They only sit at home and they teach English. Again, what I always say is that that's the main reason why I do all of those. I mean, the main reason why I make all of those surveys is to show you guys that if you teach English, if you study English, if you absorb the language just sitting at home, you're still able to have really good conversations in English, regardless of where you are. Online, offline, doesn't matter. If you learn the language in the proper way, you may go out there, you may just have any conversations, you won't have any problems at all. So, moving on. Do you ever drink fizzy drinks or eat junk food and comfy food? Well, of course I do. I am not a robot. But it happens, sorry. Oh gosh. But it happens quite rarely. Mistake. It's pretty rare, or it happens rarely. Yeah. It happens rarely. Sup, man. I super excited to see after all this time. Thank you so much, sir. Ivan Games 1994. Thank you so much. About fizzy drinks, of course, about fizzy drinks, I would say that I'm not as addicted to them as I am to junk food. I can allow myself to eat it once in 2 weeks, once in 3 weeks. And second of all, guys, it depends on what you consider to be junk food. Because yesterday I was just sitting in a restaurant and we were eating kind of sushi and Japanese cuisine. Is it junk food? I don't know. It was quite healthy. I was eating rice with teriyaki, can we say teriyaki kitchen? Kind of, yeah, with the sauce, and it was quite... Oh gosh, we have freezing picture. Just a second, I will disappear for a couple of seconds. I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm here, guys. Yeah, because sometimes my capture card gets hit, and actually it results in the picture a little bit freezing, as you can see. So let me see. How long does it take to make progress from a strong B2 to C1, provided I learn 3-4 hours per day? I think maybe, well, it can be half a year, it can be 1 year, it may even take 1 year and a half. It depends, you know, it's quite ambiguous in my opinion. When we say the word ambiguous, it means maybe not as clear as people think it is or something, yeah. But yeah, B2, C1, because they're kind of, you know, the main difference between C1 and B2 is not as big as people think it is. Like in my case, for example, I've just used the structure as you can see, I use it quite fluently, you know, I don't think about that. Maybe that's what really defines your C1 level. When you don't make mistakes, when, I don't know, depends from, you say depends on, you use structure as quite fluently, use conditional sentences quite fluently. You never confuse second, third, second. You use mixed conditionals quite decently. Yeah, I think that's what defines your C1 level. Once you feel that you reach that, congratulations, you reached C1 level. Take your cherry cake or something. Yeah. What do you think? Kind of LeBron James. I have no idea who the dude is, who the guy is. Is it a popular person I'm supposed to know some information or have some information about? LeBron James. It's basketball player. Gosh, deeply sorry. But I've never been a fan of basketball, to be honest. That's why I have no worries. I'm not supposed to know anything about him because, again, as I've just said, I've never been a fan of basketball. Yeah, I've been a fan of football from, I don't know, 4th class. But anyway, not basketball. Yep, man. Well, maybe let's do, I don't know, 10 minutes more, and I guess we'll finish our live stream. You help me to, I can improve my skills. Thank you so much. I do appreciate when I see such feedback of people telling me that I actually help them improve their English skills. That's what I make all of my videos for, guys. Primarily to help you improve your English, maybe give you some motivation. Again, news videos with me breaking down news, of course, they are primarily made for educational purpose. Every time when I make surveys, of course, I'm not saying that they're made 100% for educational purpose. It's also some kind of part of entertainment. And primary reason, guys, again, I will repeat this again, is to give you kind of idea and show you that it is possible. It's not possible. What? It's not possible. It's possible. It's possible to learn English without going abroad, without buying a ticket to America and thinking that that's the only way to learn it. Nah, you can be in Moscow, you can be in any Russian cities, in any like neighboring countries for Russia, and just learn English by sitting at home without any problems at all. And then go to America, go to Thailand, go to Bangkok, and have a lot of conversations with natives. And actually, having no negative feedback of them, telling you that, guy, dude, I have no idea what you're talking about because you've learned English in Russia. Nah, They understand you. They have no complaints about your language, and they are really proud of the fact that you are a foreigner from Russia speaking English. I hope it sounded quite motivational. Yeah. Sure, man. I'm sorry. Yeah. Do you consider opening a new YouTube channel dedicated to, say, sports or gym fitness related to the topics? Related to the topics you're expert in. Well, I already have fitness channel. I've been running to since August 2024. Can check it out. Not a problem. Just write my second name and also the first letters of my middle name and my first name, and you will see that YouTube channel. Yeah, right now it has a little bit less than 1,000 subscribers, but still it's been gradually thriving, you know. I'm not in a rush, just make videos for fun before some of my workouts, kind of scheduling content, of course, because it's really hard to combine these two YouTube channels. But anyway, I really enjoy making such videos for my YouTube channel, for fitness YouTube channel, of course, for English too. Do you think schools shortage teachers in terms of money? Yeah, I got it. So of course I think they do. Yeah, that's why there's a high turn. Sorry. Oh gosh. Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah. I think that's why there's a high turnover rate in schools. Almost nobody wants to work, especially as an English teacher. Because again, if you recently graduated pedagogical university, maybe that's the only way, because you have some kind of invitations, contracts, some kind of offers from local schools or maybe from some other universities. Less likely universities, more likely schools. And well, that's the only way to continue, not even to continue, to start your career. Because there will be nobody giving you like chance to teach, for example, online. It's a privilege to do that. It is far easier to work in school than it is when it comes to teaching online, because when you work in school, you have everything done for you and made and prepared. You have materials, you have students, you have schedule or curriculum, doesn't matter. You have all of those things done for you. You don't have to do anything except teaching English. If you work as an online teacher, you have to do everything by yourself. You're like a bookkeeper, accountant, like a director, a musician, I don't know, whoever you are, a teacher, of course, administrator, motivator, I don't know. Yeah, you can choose the role you would like to do. So, and that's how it works. And that's the main reason why we have high turnover rate. Yeah, because teachers who work in schools, especially English teachers, they get easily burned out, depressed, and basically nobody wants to work there. But no, I'm not saying that nobody. Of course, there are teachers, English teachers, who truly enjoy working in school, but there is just minority of such people. The majority of them, they hate their work. My opinion. Man. I have a trouble when I sound native speakers from British and applies to people of color. Yeah. Take some time to get used to that. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you any other recipe. There are no any other ingredients other than spending some time. That's the only way how it works. Spending 1 year, 2 years, but properly, in a proper manner. Yeah, not just, I don't know, kind of randomly. No, you need to have some structure. You need to have a plan. You need to have some particular channels you're subscribed to. And sooner or later, you will achieve your desired result. I guarantee, I assure you, you will. Ronaldo is a GOAT or no? What's your opinion? I have no idea what this particular acronym means. GOAT, What is that? Farm animal. I don't know what it means. Popular modern slang used to describe the best person in a specific field. The best person. Well, probably he is, but he is 41 years old. Of course, technically he's not. Yeah, because he has already been surpassed by other footballers who are much younger than he is. Have you ever fought with someone in the street because of someone? Not yet, but I'm not afraid of, really. Not yet. Luckily, yeah. So, guys, I think that will do for today. Let's do it for maybe 1 or 2 minutes more. I've edited my opinion after the World Cup of 2022. Yeah, I will probably... maybe I will watch some matches. I don't know. Yeah. To be honest, I'm not as interested in football as I used to be 10 years ago, even 5 years ago. I would say the last World Cup that I was truly interested in, it was 2018. Because I live in Moscow, and that particular World Cup took place in Moscow 2018 as one of the cities host. Of course, there were other cities involved in that, but in Moscow in particular, the atmosphere was like magnificent. It was gorgeous, brilliant. I can actually use all the synonyms for that word. I mean, incredible. City center, all the fans, tourists coming from all parts of the world, taxi drivers making a lot of money, of course, and waiters tricking them. But anyway, it was really great time. Well, unfortunately, I don't think it will ever be the same again, but we will see. And by the way, in 2018, it was my very first time that when I visited a real football match. I was sitting at the stadium. It was incredible, guys. Yeah, it was Spain against something else. France? I don't remember. Yeah, that's what I did. So, thanks a million for that stream. Maybe stream, not street. You're the best teacher, in my opinion. I wish I were taught by your guidance. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for having such a subscriber. I always appreciate when I see such feedback. It's amazing. Sorry, maybe right now the quality of my speech and the quality of my energy have started deteriorated because I've been working today for maybe 12, 13, 14 hours. Yeah, of course, with some breaks, with me just going running. But anyway, so guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. I really hope that you enjoyed it live stream. Again, the main purpose of me making such videos and live stream is to show you that it is possible, guys. It is possible to learn English without being in an English-speaking country and then easily using your language with no problems at all. Online, offline, doesn't matter. And of course, you've asked me about that a lot of times, and I decided only for this time because, again, as I said at the beginning of the video, that YouTube doesn't work. Any creators, any content creators, to make videos in different languages. For, one time, it is okay. Doing it more frequently, I don't know. We will see, actually. I will see. I really hope that there will be no consequences for views, for algorithms, for subscribers. But again, why not do that? Let's see. How many people... YouTube crashed? What? YouTube crashed? What? Are you watching me right now? Is everything all right? Gosh, what is happening here? We've crashed YouTube, guys. We've done it. Oh, yeah. Everything fine. Thanks, man, for the stream. See you soon. Thank you so much for the great stream. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody. See you in the next video. Give me thumbs up, Leave a comment below. I will be looking forward to your questions. Thanks a million for being here. See you in the next video next time. See you. Bye-bye. Yeah. Let's